So, Mike, another narrow defeat this afternoon. What's the thoughts immediately after?
I thought the boys were absolutely outstanding yet again. I thought it was another one of those games, very similar to Toulouse game, where I thought we were just the better team for large parts of it. They had some momentum in there, don't get me wrong. And then we just erred off the back of their momentum spells, really. So we just compounded errors at times and created more pressure on ourselves. I thought, that they got into a bit of a groove of knocking the sets out, turning the ball over quite well. And all we needed to do was be reciprocal with that, really. And just the number of player one, player two errors in yardage just hurt us. And it was disappointing because we spoke about that in the week as well. We very simply said if we hit our KPIs, we'll win the game. We did in the first half, and we're winning the game. And the second half just fell away.
Now, obviously, the winning the game is the most important part of it. But how either frustrating or what do you take away from the number of games this year where it's been as close as today, but it just feels that we just seem to be on the wrong side of that more often than not?
Well, it's been a rough journey, hasn't it? But after the Toulouse away game, we kind of said we want to act and behave like a top 16. And I think the performances, I think the second half against Featherstone we weren't great, but we were winning at half time. And outside of that, and I thought we were some tremendous effort last week, but we were pretty poor overall. Outside of that, I think the performances have been right up there with what a top 16 would bring. We know that we're incredibly thin, and we can probably cover a couple of injuries, and when it starts to get to 3, 4, 5, we do struggle, and we probably go back a few months there. But when we've only got a couple out, we can compete with anybody and beat anybody. So, but this team's still learning how to win games, learning how to win tight games, and learning how to play against good players. Let's be fair, they're a very good team. Sean's a fantastic coach. They've got probably got about 600 first grade games with Ashurst and Elijah Taylor and Milner, probably more than that, a lot more than that alone. So they've got some good players, and I just didn't think we had the rub of the green either. I thought there was some really poor calls in there. Really poor calls, baffling calls again, that we just didn't get. I just don't think we got any of those, not even 50-50s, 60-40s, to be quite honest with you, which I was pretty upset about. And the boys deserve better than that. And then alongside with Josh Drinkwater's kicks, probably 2 or 3 world-class kicks in there. Morgan Smith's 40-20, the second one, and then the goal kicks as well.
In the second half in particular, it's probably a 20-minute spell where it felt like we were just defending set after set, but really impressively. And again, we obviously haven't won the game, but you must take a huge amount of kind of pride that how much the boys dug in today. Yeah,
the boys are working really hard for each other. Like we lost last week. All their tries were individual errors, really. It never came through. Built pressure and kind of picked us off as such. And it was similar today in that. We turned them away collectively as a team, and then the pressure did just tell in the end because we couldn't just knock out our sets. And as a team, we just have to learn that when we're on our line and there's a tough set in there, we might only make 30 metres that set, but you just get to your kick. You kick it downfield, you sprint as hard as you can, and you've got to stick in there. But if you compound the pressure that they build with errors of your own, then it just double downs on that pressure cycle, which just told today, didn't it?
And just one more. Then, in terms of the league table itself, I know I listened to Sean his pre-match. He said that London are playing a hell of a lot better than what the league table suggests. And so, would you agree with that? Because we are fourth bottom, and there's a bit of a gap developing there. But when you watch the games, it doesn't feel like we're a bottom 4 team at times.
No, we're not. We have to distance ourselves from the phases of the year that we've been through. So you have that first phase of the year where we've scrambled a squad together and we're fully loaded against Featherstone at home and we win the game, and then within the next 2 or 3 weeks we're decimated and we struggle we've not got the experience, and then we kind of pad through to halfway point of the year just surviving, and then we put what we feel is it's a thin squad, but it can compete, and then you get a few injuries again and we're just coming over that cycle again. But bodies is one thing, but the other one is just learning how to win, really, Jake. And there's a big difference between winning and losing. You look at scores and you think, you've only lost by 2, but there's a big difference between winning and losing, unfortunately. And whilst the score will tell you it's only 2 points, there's a big difference in your mentality and pushing out really tough spells in games to get the wins. But overall, I would say that they are competing at the top 6 level at the minute.
I suppose one of the differences has been that where in your previous seasons, it's always been a tough start, always been lots of changes. You were able to put together a fairly consistent team. That just hasn't been possible this year, has it? With all the endless changes.
No, so it wasn't a rebuild; it was a survival thing, wasn't it? And then we just felt that the back end, as soon as we could stitch some cohesion together, we would get some results. And we've proven that. We've not had as many results as we would like. Well, I think we've had some tremendous performances. Both Toulouse games and this game were, it just shows where we can go. But next week is an almighty challenge. You start thinking, you're performing a top 6 team, and Batley they'll be gunning for us next week. They'll be at the traps of us next week, and that's a different challenge next week.
Do we have any indication yet as to whether the playoffs we're now in are actually going to happen?
Yeah, no idea. I just said to the players, we prepare for 3 weeks. We've got 3 games or 7 games, or even 8 games. Yes. But we prepare for the long game, and we throw everything we can this week at Batley, which is a 6-day turnaround up there on a Saturday.